Hello! I'm coming to you today with 3 things: fiber, salt, and sugar. Lately in class, I've been preaching a lot about fiber. The average American only gets about 15 grams of fiber per day, and the American Heart Association recommends that females get 25 grams and males get 32 grams. We can get fiber from our fruits, our vegetables, things like chia seeds, and oftentimes you'll find a lot of foods are fortified with fiber too. The downfall sometimes with those fortified foods is that there are other things also added in that are not the greatest things for us. The 2 biggest things I feel like in talking to clients that we really need to look at numbers to try and keep down. The first one is salt or sodium. The American Heart Association also sets the ideal limits on that one. And they currently have a standard 2,300 milligrams per day or less. They have some guidelines on certain people who are at higher risk for heart disease. They should keep their sodium around 1,500 milligrams a day or less, but they are starting to push towards the ideal limit for everyone, being 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day. I will tell you that when I very first went paleo, I was not getting enough sodium into my diet. It was a drastic change, but I have found that happy balance in the middle. But it is really important when you stop cooking out of boxes and cans and frozen packages that you do cook with some salt. I learned that the hard way. And it wasn't that I wasn't using any salt, it wasn't enough. That is not the common side of it though. Usually there's salt added to your frozen chicken breast, there is salt added to everything. The other thing that is added to absolutely everything is sugar. I am very grateful for Whole30 these days because you can find more and more options of foods that do not have sugar added to them and things that shouldn't be. When I was a kid, we ate spaghetti sauce made from scratch. And so we didn't add sugar to our sauce to kill the acidity. We added pureed carrots because pureed carrots have naturally containing sugar, and that would kill the acidity of the tomatoes in the sauce. And there are little tips and tricks like that to decrease your added sugar amounts. Now, what's hard about added sugar is on the label, it gives you total sugar. And some of those sugars are naturally occurring. You can flip over the label, read the ingredients, and they are listed in what's in there most to what's in there least. So I like to challenge people to try and keep 5 ingredients in their boxed food or less. But even if you're not quite that far along yet, make sure that sugar is not one of those first couple of ingredients. You've got like 20 ingredients and the first and the fourth and the fifth are all different types of sugar. Probably not the food that you want to be eating. The World Health Organization actually sets forth the sugar requirements, and they recommend you take 50 grams of sugar per day or less, and their optimal health guidelines is at 25 grams a day of sugar or less. And again, that is added sugar. So when you look even on like the back of your milk carton, some of those grams of sugars are naturally occurring in your food. So it's not only important to look at the grams of sugar on a label, it's also important to look at the ingredients listed on the label because that will tell you if there is sugar added. And now that I threw a whole bunch of numbers at you, I hope I didn't confuse you too much, gave you something to think about. I feel like pretty much everybody could pick one of those 3 and do a check. Are you getting enough fiber? Are you getting too much salt, or are you getting too much sugar? And just pick one and work with what you're eating and tweak it a little bit until you're in an ideal range, and then move on to the next one. And if you're hitting all 3 of those within their acceptable ranges, you're probably on a pretty good, healthy plan. If you have any questions or any comments about it, be sure to drop it in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you soon.